Three sides to every tale we tell. The truth is here, it's ringing bells.
Welcome back, everyone. Ready for another deep dive? Today we're tackling something pretty fascinating. Intelligence.
Ooh, intelligence.
Yeah, but not just like your standard IQ test kind of way.
Right, right.
We're going way beyond that. To really explore all the different ways a mind can be brilliant, like a mental playground for all of you out there who love to think. Put those brain cells to work.
I like that, a mental playground. That's a great way to put it. Because what's interesting is this idea that we have one single measurable intelligence, like what's often called that G factor.
The G factor.
It's actually a pretty limited view.
Limited? How so? Our source material this time, The Complete Book of Intelligence Tests by Philip Carter. I mean, it talks about that G factor quite a bit, doesn't it?
It does. And the book itself is fantastic, by the way, for really giving your mind a good workout. But that G factor, basically, it comes from research back in the early 20th century. And it kind of set the stage for all those standard IQ tests we see. But the problem is it reduces, the complexity of what human intelligence is.
Right.
Down to just a single number, as if there's only one way to be smart.
So, like saying a fish is stupid because it can't climb a tree.
Exactly.
And that's where the ideas of like fluid and crystallized intelligence come in, right?
Precisely. Even back when they were developing that G factor, researchers were already starting to see, these different kinds of intelligence. So you have fluid intelligence, which is like your ability to think on your feet, right? To solve problems you've never seen before, adapt to new situations. Then you have crystallized intelligence, which is more about like all the knowledge you've accumulated, all those facts, and how well you can access them and actually use them.
So you could be like a master chess player, effortlessly thinking, moves ahead, but totally struggle to remember like historical dates.
Yeah.
Or you might be a walking encyclopedia, but find yourself completely stumped by like a single logic puzzle.
Right, exactly. It's like having different mental muscles, some stronger than others.
It is, yeah.
And that's where the idea of multiple intelligences really starts to open things up.
I'm intrigued. Tell me more. Multiple intelligences.
So the book actually draws on the work of Howard Gardner, who proposed that we have not just one, not two, but 9 distinct intelligences.
9.
9.
Wow.
So it's not just about being smart or not smart, but recognizing this unique blend of abilities that we each have.
That's quite a departure from like the single score of an IQ test.
Exactly.
So what are these 9 and how do they play out in the real world?
Okay, so first we have linguistic intelligence. Think writers, poets, orators, anyone who can just wield words with a finesse. Then there's logical mathematical intelligence, mathematicians, scientists, anyone who loves to crack a good code.
Okay, yeah.
Spatial intelligence is all about visual and spatial thinking. Like you see this in architects, sculptors, even skilled chess players, that kind of spatial reasoning.
Yeah. So someone might be a brilliant artist, effortlessly capturing, 3-dimensional space on a canvas, but get totally lost trying to follow driving directions.
Exactly.
Okay, it's starting to make more sense.
And it goes beyond those kind of classic, quote unquote, grainy skills. You have musical intelligence.
Sure.
Bodily-Kinesthetic intelligence, so the intelligence of movement and coordination. Athletes, dancers, surgeons with those incredibly steady hands.
Wait, surgeons. You're saying like surgery requires a specific type of intelligence.
Absolutely. The precision, the dexterity, being able to take that mental image and translate it into a precise physical action. It's a form of intelligence that often gets overlooked.
Ah, interesting.
Then we move into more social intelligence. So interpersonal intelligence is the ability to understand and connect with others. Therapists, leaders, anyone who can really read a room and navigate those complex social situations.
And what about like those of us who are a little more introspective?
Yeah.
Does that fit into this model?
Absolutely. That's intrapersonal intelligence. It's that self-awareness, being able to look inward and understand your own emotions, motivations, your thought processes.
So knowing yourself,
Yeah.
like inside and out,
Yeah,
that's a kind of intelligence too.
it is.
We could all probably use a little more of that.
Yeah.
But what about people who feel most at home, like out in nature?
That's naturalistic intelligence.
Yeah.
It's that connection to the natural world, recognizing patterns, understanding ecosystems, that appreciation for how life is all interconnected. Biologists, naturalists, gardeners who just seem to have a green thumb,
Yeah.
That's naturalistic intelligence.
This is so fascinating. It really expands what it means to be intelligent.
It does.
But you said there were 9.
Yes.
What's the final one?
The ninth intelligence, this is a big one, is existential intelligence.
Existential.
Existential intelligence.
Right.
This is the realm of those big questions, the ones that keep philosophers and theologians up at night. The meaning of life, death, our place in the universe.
So like the deep thinkers.
Exactly. And while not everyone might identify as an existentialist, I think we all grapple with these questions to some degree.
Right.
It's part of what makes us human.
So with all these multiple intelligences,
Yeah.
do we all possess all 9?
Well, the idea is that we all have them, but to varying degrees. It's like having a unique cocktail of intelligences.
Okay.
Right? Some are stronger, some are weaker. And that kind of shapes our strengths, our preferences, even our career paths.
This is where it gets really interesting.
It does.
It's like we're not just born with a set amount of, smartness, but a whole toolbox
Yes,
of these mental abilities that we can actually nurture and develop.
precisely.
And one of those really essential tools, it seems, is memory. The book actually argues that memory is an intelligence in and of itself.
It is.
And it's often kind of overlooked and underestimated.
Absolutely.
I have to admit, I've always envied people with those photographic memories.
Right.
But like other forms of intelligence, the book says we can improve our memory with practice and stimulation.
Absolutely. There are techniques and strategies you can use to really enhance your memory.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
So this is really giving me a whole new way to think about what it means to be intelligent.
That's great.
It's not just about, book smarts or acing standardized tests. It's embracing all these mental abilities.
Absolutely. It's that full spectrum.
Yeah.
And as we continue our deep dive into the complete book of intelligence tests, we're going to uncover even more surprising insights, I think, and some practical tips for how you can unleash your inner genius.
I am so ready to dive in.
Great.
This exploration of intelligence is already making me think about my own strengths in a whole new way.
Awesome.
So let's keep going.
Let's do it. One thing that really stood out to me in this complete book of intelligence tests was how much it focuses on the practical side of all these different intelligences.
Oh, absolutely. It's not just like an abstract concept.
Yeah.
It's about how we can actually use these different intelligences
Yeah.
to make our lives better, navigate those challenges, even unlock new possibilities.
Exactly. And the book has all kinds of tests and exercises to actually help us hone these mental tools.
I love that.
Yeah.
Like you've got a personal trainer for your brain.
Yeah, it's like a workout routine
Yeah.
for your mind.
But speaking of specific exercises, the book actually goes into something called aptitude tests. Can you tell us a bit more about those?
Sure. Aptitude tests, they go beyond just general intelligence, and they really zero in on specific skills and abilities.
Okay.
So you might have a verbal aptitude test to assess your vocabulary and how well you understand things. You might have a numerical aptitude test to look at your mathematical reasoning, or a spatial aptitude test to see how well you can visualize and manipulate objects in your mind.
So it's like taking a detailed inventory
Yes.
of your strengths and weaknesses.
Exactly.
That's valuable for understanding yourself better, but also, making decisions about your career or education.
Absolutely. Imagine discovering you have this hidden talent for spatial reasoning.
Yeah.
You might never have considered a career in architecture or engineering, but now a whole new world of possibilities opens up.
That's true. Or maybe you've always struggled with math, and assumed you were just not a numbers person.
Right.
But then an aptitude test could reveal you actually have a strong logical mathematical intelligence
Yeah.
that just needs a little nurturing and the right approach.
That's a great point. And the book gets into some fascinating details about how these specific aptitudes translate to different professions.
Yo.
For example, someone with strong form perception, which is the ability to see those subtle differences in shapes and patterns, they might excel in fields like quality control or microscopy, where attention to detail is super important.
It's amazing how these seemingly small aptitudes can have a big impact,
They can.
on our career choices and even overall success.
Yeah.
But it makes me wonder about this age-old question.
Oh,
Is intelligence something we're born with, or is it shaped by our experiences?
right. That's the classic nature versus nurture debate.
Yeah.
And the book acknowledges it's a complex issue.
Well, of course.
While some aspects of intelligence, like IQ, do have a hereditary component, the book really emphasizes that environmental factors like your education, your upbringing, even your own efforts to learn and grow play a significant role in shaping how you develop intellectually.
So it's not a simple either.
No.
Our genes might provide the blueprint, but our experiences determine how that blueprint actually unfolds.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
Thanks.
And it brings us back to that idea that intelligence isn't fixed or static.
Right.
It's dynamic.
Yes.
It's malleable.
It's changing.
And it's constantly evolving. We truly have the power to influence our own intellectual growth through the choices we make and the actions we take.
That is so empowering.
It is.
Knowing that we have that agency in our own development makes this journey even more exciting.
I agree. And as we keep going with the complete book of intelligence tests, we're going to uncover even more fascinating aspects of intelligence, including the importance of memory, the power of logical reasoning, and even that creative spark that sets human minds apart.
I'm ready. Let's dive in. This exploration of intelligence is really making me challenge my assumptions and think about my own strengths in new ways.
I love it.
Okay, so we've covered so much ground already.
We have.
From IQ tests to multiple intelligences and that whole nature versus nurture thing. But I'm curious about something.
Yeah.
The book talks a lot about logical reasoning.
Right.
Where does that fit into this whole picture of intelligence?
Well, logical reasoning is often seen as like the foundation of intelligence.
Yeah.
And for good reason. It's about thinking critically, analyzing information, and drawing sound conclusions from it.
So it's what helps us solve problems, make decisions, and just navigate the complexities of life in general.
Exactly.
So it's not just about being good at logic puzzles or something.
Right. It's a skill you can actually develop and strengthen through practice with the right kind of mental exercise.
Speaking of thinking differently, earlier we talked about lateral thinking.
Yes.
I know the book highlights that as a way to boost creativity.
It does. Lateral thinking, like Edward de Bono developed, it is all about breaking free from those conventional patterns of thought and approaching problems from those unexpected angles.
Okay.
So it encourages you to challenge assumptions, embrace ambiguity, and really explore alternative perspectives.
So instead of getting stuck in a rut, lateral thinking can help us shake things up and come up with some really innovative solutions.
Exactly.
Sounds like something everyone could benefit from no matter what they do.
Absolutely. It's about cultivating that mental flexibility that lets you see beyond the obvious and discover new possibilities.
This whole deep dive is making me realize how much potential we all have.
Yeah.
It's pretty inspiring.
It is.
But also kind of daunting. Where do we even begin to tap into all this?
Well, the book emphasizes that self-awareness is really key. Understanding your own unique blend of intelligences, your strengths, your weaknesses.
Right.
That's essential for knowing where to focus your efforts.
Okay.
And that's where those aptitude tests we talked about before can be incredibly valuable.
So it's not just about labeling ourselves as good at this or bad at that.
Right.
It's about really understanding those nuances of our abilities.
Yes.
And using that knowledge to grow both personally and professionally.
Exactly. And remember, intelligence isn't fixed. It's something we can nurture and develop throughout our lives.
This has been an incredible journey.
It has.
We've gone from those traditional IQ tests to multiple intelligences to realizing that every mind is unique.
Absolutely.
And as we wrap up our deep dive into the complete book of intelligence tests, I want to encourage everyone listening to keep learning and growing.
Keep your mind engaged.
Explore new ideas.
Yes.
And never underestimate your own potential.
Well said. I couldn't agree more.
So if you're ready to really give your brain a workout and discover your own intellectual abilities, I highly recommend checking out the complete book of intelligence tests. It's such a fascinating exploration of what makes us tick.
It is.
You might be surprised by what you learn about yourself along the way. Until next time, keep those minds sharp and those curiosities burning.
Welcome to the show we're in. News to share, where to begin. Free sides to every tale we tell. The truth is here, it's ringing bells. Dive in deep, let's take a look in every twist and turn we took. For glory lies within the truth. We're chasing facts, it's our pursuit.